Hey everyone, it's Megan from Bookish Lights. And this is going to be my September TBR, and I'm going to do things a little differently. Usually I have a list of books that I want to read and I do one TBR jar pick, but this month I'm going to choose 5 books out of my TBR jar pick, and I do have 2 books that I'm currently reading that I want to finish in September. Actually there's 3 books, but one of them I might get finished just before August, or just before September. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm gonna choose some books out of this. I haven't updated this jar quite yet because I have books that I bought in August, but I don't want to add those yet because I have other books on my bookshelf that I want to read before I add any new ones in. So after this month I will add those in, but let's just get right into it. So I'm going to pick all of the books first and then I'll go grab them. So we have book number 1. I'm just going to pick them all first before I open it up. So 2, 3, book number 4, and then the last one, number 5. If there's any sequels or anything, then I'll just re-pick, or I'll just pick like the first book or whatever one is next. The first one we have is Invisible Ghosts by Robin Schneider. Book number 2 is Little Men, but I haven't read Little Women yet, so I'll grab that in place of this, and that is by Louisa May Alcott. Book number 3, The Absoluteness of Nothingness, or The Absoluteness of Nothing by C.G. Watson. It's a fairly recent book added to my collection. Book number 4 is Ignite Me by Tahara Mafi, and I do believe this is the book that I have to read next in this series. Then lastly we have The Trouble with Alice by Olivia Glazebrook. So those are the 5 books. I'm going to go grab them and I will be right back. Alright, so I don't know a lot about these books because as you guys know, I don't like reading synopsis, but I figured I will read the synopsis of each book here on the video so you guys can hear it as well, and maybe these will interest you guys to pick these up as well. So the first book I have is The Trouble with Alice, and this is by Olivia Glazebrook, and the back of it is: you think you're the perfect couple, and then the unthinkable happens. Kit and Alice are enjoying a luxurious weekend abroad when their car spins off a mountain road and into a desert valley. Their lives are changed in an instant. In the aftermath of the accident, their faith in each other is shattered. Suddenly, it is as if they hardly know each other at all. The Trouble with Alice is a love story told backwards. A touching, surprising novel about 2 people who have to fall apart in order to learn how to love. So it seems pretty interesting. This has been on my shelf probably since 2015 and I just haven't picked it up. And usually if something is on my shelf for that long I unhaul it, but I have always wanted to read this. It's just that I got out of reading for a couple of years. Then when I got back into it, I found other books that I wanted to read more. But I'm glad this came out of my TBR jar so I can finally pick it up. The next one we have is Invisible Ghost by Robin Schneider. I bought this a few months ago on Book Outlet. It was a total cover buy, but I'm going to read the description. Rose Asher believes in weird omens. She also believes in ghosts, since she has one for a best friend. That will be Logan, her annoying Netflix-addicted brother who is forever stuck at 15. Rose is happy spending all her time with Logan until an old friend moves back to Laguna Canyon and turns up in her drama class. Jamie Aldridge is charming, confident, and a painful reminder of the life Rose has been missing out on since her brother's death. She watches as Jamie easily rejoins their former friends, a group of magnificently silly theater nerds, while avoiding her so intensely that it must be deliberate. Yet, when the two of them unexpectedly cross paths, Rose learns that Jamie has a secret of his own, one that changes everything. Rose finds herself drawn back into her old life and to Jamie, but she quickly starts to suspect that he is not telling her the whole truth. All Rose knows is that it's becoming harder to choose between the boy who makes her feel alive and the brother she isn't ready to lose. So she can see ghosts, and one of them is her brother. I'm thinking that Jamie has something to do with her brother's death, so I'm excited to read that. The next one is The Absolute List of Nothing. This is by C.G. Watson. Caleb Tosh has suffered one personal trauma too many, but this last one, the sudden departure of his mom, has pushed him down a dark and disorienting path. His favorite video game, The Boneyard, becomes his go-to coping mechanism, and Tosh gladly gets lost in the maps of the game rather than moving through the landscape of his own grief. As Tosh falls further and further down the rabbit hole of abandonment and loneliness, he doesn't see that there are others fighting both virtual and real-life battles alongside him. What will it take for Caleb Tosh to leave the safety of the Boneyard, rejoin reality, and deal with the wreckage of his actual life? So this deals with like loss and grief and just trying to move forward from that. So this seems like a nice little interesting read, and I'm sure there's several of us who can relate to this. Then we have Ignite Me by Tahara Mafi, and this is the third book in the Shatter Me series. And I'm not going to read the description of this, but basically in Shatter Me, there's this girl, Juliet, she's the main character. She has this power that if she touches someone on like skin to skin contact, then she can hurt them and ultimately kill them. And she, like growing up, she was always told that she was the bad person and she wasn't wanted. Like her family didn't want her, none of her friends wanted to be with her. Not that she probably didn't have many friends to begin with, so she was abandoned basically, and she was taken in by this, I think it's the reestablishment, to try and figure out how to control her powers and to use them to help them, but she doesn't want to be a part of it. She just wants to be left alone. So it follows along with that, and this just like follows along Juliet's journey into figuring out more about herself and the world around her. And then we have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I love this edition. It's like, it's very small, but it's chunky, and it's like a nice floppy paperback. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know what this is about, but for the people who aren't really into classics or anything of the sorts, I will go ahead and read the back. This cover is just beautiful. I have the Little Men and Joe's Boys in the same cover edition. This is Puffin Classics. I bought it on Book Outlet, so it may still be there, but I bought it like sometime last year. So this is Meg the sweet-tempered one, Joe the smart one, Beth the shy one, Amy the sassy one. Together they're the March sisters. Their father is always at war and times are difficult, but the bond between the sisters is strong. Through sisterly squabbles, happy times, and sad, their 4 lives follow different paths, and they discover that growing up is sometimes very hard to do. So yeah, it's just basically, I can't remember what year this is set in, but it's basically just like following the lives of the sisters and just what their family life is like. Moving on to the 2 books that I'm currently reading. The first one I mentioned in my last video, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I am really liking this book so far. I'm not too far in it. I'm about 20% still. I haven't read too much further into it. I just have like other books that I'm also currently reading. I'm one of those people who will read multiple books at a time when I should probably focus on the one, but that's okay. This is a sort of a retelling, and it's very popular on BookTube, and the main character's name is Feyre, and she kills a wolf that's part of the High Court, or the Fae. There's magic in it, and because she killed one of the like Fae wolves, she has been taken like a life for a life, but she's more spared. Just that she has to live with the, I think it's the High Court, but she has to live with, I think his name is Tamlin. Yeah, Tamlin. She has to live on like the magical side and not be able to return home. And then lastly, we have Always and Forever Laura Jean, the 3rd and final book in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy by Jenny Han. And it's about time that I'm going to pick this book back up. I did get as far as chapter 5 at some point, but I may have to go back and reread the beginning because it's been a couple months since I had picked this up. And this just follows along the life of Laura Jean. In the first book, she had written letters to all of the boys that she has loved in her lifetime without meaning to send them out, but somehow they got sent out. So she's just dealing with the aftermath of that and trying to keep everything under wraps. This just follows along her life after it all has happened. It's just like a good, I just need a good ending to the trilogy. So I hope you guys like that video. There may be some more books I'm reading throughout the month because I do like to listen to quite a few audiobooks. Hopefully I can get those books read. Usually I have like a TBR of like 10 or more books each month, and I don't really get to all of them, so I figured that making my TBR smaller and picking books out of my TBR jar, I might get them done and maybe actually read everything that's on my TBR for the month. So I hope you guys like this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon to receive any notifications for any time that I upload a video. And if you have any questions or video suggestions, just leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.